Hello there again. So this video is gonna be more on the kind of an open discussion or spur of the moment, just kind of got this impulse of this idea. It's hasn't been formed in my mind too. I haven't molded over too much, but how to get to heaven is kind of something I've lived it. Like once I started Tai Chi, I felt like the yoga teachers say, like, if you do it every day with certain yoga practice, you just type in Kundalini yoga to YouTube, and all of a sudden you get this Indian woman, I think her name's Seelam, teaching a readjustment of the spine yoga kriya. And yeah, I mean, I see you just do something every day. Find a daily routine. It could be like morning routine, like they say, the most advantageous things you can do. I think number 1 is meditate, number 2 is exercise, number 3 is routine, but number 4 is number 3 is reading, but those all kind of encompass a morning routine. You should get a morning routine, or a lot of successful people or people based on that think about self-improvement, think about they talk a lot about you want your first hour of your day and your last hour of your day just to yourself. Like maybe the last hour just read, or I don't know, do something you like that's individualistic, that's like your preferred morning routines, and I guess going to bed routines. So what I wanted to make this video about, how to get to heaven. Big topic. I'm sure a lot of people want to know about. It's a lot about just thinking to it. Maybe there's a reason people that seem really, I don't know, peaceful or happy-go-lucky or whatever tend to have pillows like this. They say stuff on them, peace, because, I mean, I've also heard that culture is just a thin veneer of familiarity. I mean, you look around the world at different societies or groups of people, their culture is mostly just what they're familiar with. Like, we just recognize a stop sign as meaning slow your car down, or look both ways, just because if we weren't taught that from birth, it wasn't so familiar and no one would know what it means. But when things are familiar, you start liking them more. It's like how people say it grows on you, or you get used to it, or something. That's the way the brain works. Over time it gets into habit. And so I want to make this video about how to get to heaven, or how to get wherever you want to be. So the reason I bring up pillows like this that say words, well, maybe you want to just post pictures of your ideal, or your kind of thing you're working towards, or thing you want to adopt as a mindset. Just post that around your house so you see it all the time. Because as you start seeing stuff more and more, eventually it'll be ingrained. It'll be internalization, I think they call it. Yeah, you just internalize behavior because it becomes so familiar. And the reason I bring up heaven, why I want to talk about heaven in this video, because when I was waiting for a Tai Chi one day, and I was reading a book like every day. They pretty much see me. I'm waiting there reading a book. Like I read a lot, or I read certain books. This particular book I was reading one day was called Ultimate Journey. Yeah, it was called. What was it called? Journeys Beyond the Body, or it's either. I think it was called Ultimate Journey. So, in Ultimate Journey by Robert Monroe, me and my Tai Chi teacher saw me reading that. He talked to me about like the seventh heaven, and how when they were teaching him over in China, like they talked about, leaving the body and how there are different layers of, I guess, heavens you would go to through your mind, or the way I talk about astral projection makes me think about like when I talk about, I always think about Imaginationland from South Park, because I mean, doesn't that guy, he says just because something's imaginary doesn't mean it's not real, or I guess a more like logical, down to earth way to explain this: just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So I mean, like, you start believing something, that starts to become your reality. That's why they say daily affirmations. Because, like, when you tell yourself something over and over and over, start believing it, like it's your reality. That's why at a very early age, all these leaders teach the youth to like respect them, or on the Pledge of Allegiance, do it every day, or whatever. I'm sure there are better examples than that, but I want to talk about how to get out of it now. I mean, Imaginationland from South Park, like, think about it, because I think those guys who write South Park, they definitely know what they're doing. Like, they've got it set. I think they figured everything out, and they're just trying to communicate everything in a kind of subtle way. Or I know that South Park a lot of times, like all the time, is trying to parody stuff. Like it makes fun of the way people act, or makes fun of current events, but like I don't know, South Park seems like all this stuff that anyone tells you pretty much about, I don't know, astral projection or what you see on South Park, like, take it with a pinch of salt, because, I mean, you should pretty much do that with everything that people tell you. Like, anything someone tells you is probably half true and half bullshit. Like, oh yeah, thought and how it can influence your ascent to heaven. I want to talk about fairies. How, yes, a lot of people don't believe in them, or they're not making themselves visible, because I mean, think about it. Like, if you're not giving them any attention, if you're not making any effort to try to like communicate with them, or why would they communicate back to you? Like, if they don't know you're trying to find them, or you're a seeker who, I guess, believes in them or whatever, then they're not gonna talk back to you, because you're gonna talk to them. It's like you need to send a resume to an employer before you could get a job interview or anything. It's not like they're one day an employer is gonna open your door and say, "Hey, you! I heard you're good at typing on accounting, or I don't know, good at chopping wood or hauling wood or whatever the employer is trying to employ you for. So Imagination Land, and I mean, think about it, like fairies. I like to use a metaphor of because not metaphor, but analogy of the platypus. Like for a long time, scientists thought it was a hoax. Like they thought, oh, some sick person must have sewed a duck and a beaver together. But I mean, no, because I mean, over time they found, oh, these guys were actually telling the truth. Like, I mean, you should always, whenever you're, I guess, in an argument against people or, I don't know, on one side of, something and saying, like, yes, no, and these people are saying yes, you're saying no, try to maybe figure out like what are they saying and why is that wrong. Yeah, what actually am I disagreeing with, or is it just I'm disagreeing with the idea, or do I actually think about it logically and know what they're saying, and then okay, that's stupid or whatever. Like I've actually seen videos where this guy used wanted to like debunk I guess those guys who wear tinfoil hats. Like I wear a tinfoil hat. I've never worn a tinfoil hat. I was watching this video. The guy went to like debunk tinfoil hats, and so we set up this brain transmission thing that's supposed to like read your brain activity or something. And he put on it, he had an aluminum hat, not tin, because he couldn't find tin. So he just used aluminum, and he found that, yeah, it does some, like, there is less brain activity picked up. Which, I don't know what that means then, but... So, I don't know, there's obviously a reason people do things, and, I mean, when I talked about getting to heaven, well, one, meditation is a big part of it, because I think, like, when I started meditating, like, when I had those terrible essays for English that I really didn't want to do, like, it's just, when you meditate, things flow so much better. There's a flow state. Gets you in the flow state, and it's like, you don't even have to think about it, it just happens. I guess that's one way to get to heaven, and there's also reading, or like the way I read, I found one author that I like, Paulo Coelho, and I mean, I know there are a lot of other authors I like, but stick with him because there's always they always have something. And I mean, I'm not just limited to Paulo Coelho. I've also gotten other books in the library just based on like topics I like. Like I typed into the card catalog Medicine Men, and there were just some books related, and yeah, and so I mean, it was really interesting how my Tai Chi teacher talked about the seventh heaven, and actually, after the class, he told me, like, astral projection is not, it's something he does not practice. So I guess some people will practice it, some people will say, like, it's too complicated, or, I don't know, I don't have time, or whatever. Imaginationland, and I mean, I guess what I've heard about fairies is that they really don't like humanity, or they don't like the way most humans treat the earth. Like, they really like the Native Americans. Like I've heard stories by Native Americans of how they've contacted the fairies and they had relationships with fairies, but like that was when the Native Americans were doing it just where they weren't like building roads, they weren't driving cars, they weren't, I guess, doing factory farming. They weren't they weren't doing much to harm the environment. They were actually a living part of the environment that, I guess, worked with it. So, like, if you're doing anything to hurt the environment, they really don't like you. I've heard that you need to start picking up start a devotion with yourself to picking up litter around where you live, like, because fairies like that. They like that you're cleaning up the nature ecosystem. What else? I want to talk about fairies. And yeah, I'm sure they're more out in like places where you wouldn't normally think to go, or like places that aren't definitely don't have pavement, so you're not gonna be like walking on a Struble Trail and you're gonna stumble across a fairy or whatever walking road place. So go for what I like to call non-energetically dense area, or somewhere where it's more like uninhabited, or I guess you could call it rural, or kind of like in the forest, in the woods, where there's like, it's just things grew naturally and there wasn't any human intervention. And it's like when I go looking for mushrooms, like they're more likely not to be right outside of the road. I mean, sometimes they're outside the road, but most of the time, like, or when my mom wants to go looking for moose, like, the odds are they're not gonna be right at the side of the road, so you're gonna have a lot better time finding these natural things if you're actually like in the woods. You actually look. And another thing about mushrooms, like, I've actually read that I think more than half the time, or half the time, they're underground. So like, if you find some odd looking, out of the ordinary protuberance sticking out of the ground like a bump, and you're thinking like, hey, they shouldn't be here because, I don't know, it just looks weird, then that's probably like there's a mushroom down there. Oh, and something about mushrooms out of the ground, I don't think I've said on this channel before, that something I think people should know is that truffles do not, like, they no longer use pigs to find truffles, or at least the good finders don't use pigs, because pigs they may be better than dogs, because the reason they ever used pigs to find truffles was because truffles smell a lot like male pig pheromones. So they use a female pig, and the female is attracted to the male pheromones, or the scent of them, but then the female pig wants to eat the mushroom. And so I guess they figure that half the time, or most of the time, the pig ended up eating the mushroom, and so they got specially trained dogs to do it. Which, I've never gone truffle hunting with a pig or a dog or anything. Because, I mean, I look for mushrooms that aren't truffles, because I know truffles are hard to find. But I'm sure once you find something that rare or that hard to find, once you go through all the shit, the suffering, overcome your negative all your hard work, that'll take you to heaven. And that's how you get to heaven. And last thing I want to talk about today, I was reading to my mom the story of the ugly duckling. See, everyone knows the ducks thought, oh, he's so hideous, we should try to get the cat to eat him, or, I don't know, kick him out of our clan, or so ugly, like the farm lady who works the duck farm kicked him. Because, I mean, he wasn't a duck, he was a swan. And he found out, wait, I thought I went through all this terrible negative stuff, but then I realized, oh wait, I got to heaven because now I'm the most beautiful bird there is, I'm a swan, blah blah. It reminds me of Buddy from A Christmas Story. Whatever that Elf, from Elf, a Christmas movie. Buddy was, he thought he was a terrible elf, but they figured out he's not an elf. So, there was a mix-up, it was like the ugly duckling. How, he thought he was born one way, but no, he was just, adopted, and, yeah. Then he found out he is, so he got to heaven. And that is how you get to heaven.